Welcome to Business Talk, presented in collaboration with the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, from the heart of southeastern Ohio at the University of Rio Grande TV studio. Our goals are simple: promote the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, as well as advocate local small business and their support organizations. More importantly, promote southeastern Ohio as a wonderful place to live, explore, and learn. There are many different ways you can find us. The University of Rio Grande Cable Access Channel 17, live online at blogtalkradio.com, and on YouTube if you are unable to catch our show live. Introducing our co-hosts, Jason Winters, Mike Thompson, Patrick Dengel. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to our show. It's really great to be here, especially with the lineup of guests that we have today, this first week in August 2015. It's hard to believe. As we were talking at lunchtime, we were sort of reminiscing on some of the new programs that have come out, the new technology that has come out, specifically regarding cable. I was mentioning to our guest that we started out with teleprompter, and at that time my father went down to teleprompter to pay $2 for a cable bill. And I know that as the technology continued to increase and the world economy continued to increase, etc., it would be nice if the cable systems were $2, but that was a long time ago and will probably stay in a long time ago. But it is a great honor to have with us a gentleman that has a lot of experience, not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera. He's had a lot of experience helping students and helping people and helping small businesses sort of take advantage of the media. Just like our Mike Thompson and our Luke Lawrence here at the University of Rio Grande and other students. It's not a matter of just plopping down a camera and making a work of art. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of time. And again, it's our pleasure to feature a gentleman from Armstrong Cable. He's the local programming coordinator, Douglas Morris. Doug has been with the Armstrong Cable Company for 2.5 years. So welcome.
Well, thank you.
It is a pleasure talking and listening when Mike and yourself are sharing various different items involved, because both you and Mike, your careers sort of match and they sort of tailor and
right. We're both sort of sharing the old war stories, I guess, from television for the past 30 years, maybe.
Now, if Jason were here, he's tied up with some things on his farm. But if Jason were here, he'd say, "You mean older war stories?" But anyway, tell the listening audience a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, my name is Doug Morris. I got involved in the business in high school, actually. I lived in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, grew up there, graduated from Point Pleasant High School. And in high school, for a short period of time, I worked at the local cable television company. That was Point View Cable. That's how long ago that was. There's probably no one around here who remembers Point View Cable. But what we did, what I did, they would bring in some high school students a few nights a week to play back on their local programming channel. And that consisted mainly of the old U-matic or 3/4 inch thick video cassettes. We'd pop them in and press play and watch the clock and press play at the right time and change those. And they also had a reel of community information, just like we do now, except this was actually typed out on a typewriter and stuck in a little slot, and the camera took a picture of it. So This was a long time ago. But in addition to doing that, we also had the opportunity to occasionally go out and tape a local event. Taped high school basketball games, some football games, some parades. And that's really how I got interested in it, I guess. We were carrying around these huge cameras with great big monitors and huge tape recorders, and go set up and tape a game. And
I would imagine, and Mike was sharing some information about taping, that you literally had to splice the tape when you edited it. So if something was inappropriate, or if it just didn't make sense, you were able to cut the tape out and...
Right. Now, at that point, Point View Cable had no editing capabilities.
Oh, really?
So what we did is what they got, for better or worse. But yeah, I understand, and that's before my time when I actually cut videotape. But I did do electronic videotape editing before computers, where you would actually have to... The process was you would play back the scene you wanted and record it on another tape, and change tapes and just record everything in order. So I went to Marshall University after graduating high school.
Good school, good university.
And I majored in broadcasting, which was part of the speech department at that time.
Now, did they have a radio and a TV station?
They had radio and TV. They didn't have a television station, but they had a little bit of television equipment. This was back, before everyone carried a television station in their pocket. We had, you could take some cameras out and do some things, and that was part of the coursework, where you'd shoot it, bring it back, and edit pieces together. And we had on-campus radio, WMUL radio, so did a lot of that.
So were you one of the DJs?
One of the DJs. Also had a role as a continuity director is actually what I was.
Continuity director.
And I continued that later on. Well, that is the person who makes sure you have the little announcements that have to be read and keeps track of where the logs are and those kinds of things.
So what you're saying is in the radio and in the TV, a lot is really dependent upon time. And second of all, you have to be sort of organized. You just don't flip on a switch and sit down. You really have to plan out those programs, correct?
Right. That is very true of the production business, is that most of the work is done before you even, well, I wouldn't say most, but lots of the work is done before you even show up. You got to make sure everybody's there at the right time, and have a plan of what you're going to do and where you're going to do it and who's going to do it.
I understand. And I know, watching Mike and Luke and being involved and watching Jason, there's a lot that goes to make a production, and there's a lot that goes to make something that looks halfway decent. You just can't throw something up there. But it's interesting. Maybe we can get back to your radio, because I have a couple of questions on that. So I know that you're married. You have 2 wonderful children and 2 grandchildren. Grandchildren.
Not great-grandchildren, but two teenage grandchildren.
2 teenage.
2 girls, yes.
And just recently, about 2.5 years ago, you joined Armstrong Cable.
Yes.
Care to share us a little bit about Armstrong Cable and maybe some of their history?
Yes. Armstrong is a cable TV provider. They provide to about 250,000 customers, approximately. They're headquartered in Butler, Pennsylvania, so they have a number of cable systems in the region. They are a family-held company, so it's actually not one of the major cable companies like a Comcast or a Time Warner and those kinds of things. It's a smaller company. And I think it's a great company.
So they started out as a phone and a utility.
Started out, hanging phone lines and climbing poles and that kind of stuff, and built up the business to what it is today, where they're actually in cable. They also do some electronics manufacturing, they're in restaurant business, real estate. So it's a very diversified company, but a small company in the cable TV business.
Yeah, you had mentioned something about the restaurant work.
They have a few restaurants up in the Butler, Pennsylvania area.
Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
I think they're some of the franchises.
Right,
Very
right.
good. And they're also into security systems.
Security systems, yeah.
That sort of makes sense. If you're into telephones, you're bringing wires into a home. If you're in cable, you're bringing wires into the home.
Right.
So security is one of those.
Security is a related business, actually, to cable TV and internet and those sorts of things. Although, in this case, they are two separate companies. But I think in the future, you're going to see more of security systems being part of your internet service and tied into home automation and those sorts of things, and it all kind of relates together, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, because as our electronics, our technology becomes more and more capable of doing much more than we realize, we are really dependent upon making sure that information is safe.
Correct.
And
yes.
So it does make sense for Armstrong Cable to be involved. Now, Armstrong Cable, size-wise, when you compare it with other cable companies, where do you sort of fit in with? About 13th or 14th, somewhere around here? 12th?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure as far as that goes. I know they are not one of the large cable systems. And there are lots of small, like single-town cable systems still around.
Right.
So, but they are a mid-sized type company. Like I say, probably 250,000 subscribers, somewhere in that range.
I would think, in my personal opinion, that mid-size cable systems are the strongest. And the reason being is, first of all, they don't have the attitude of, well, we'll get around to fixing it. And second of all, they have enough technology and support that smaller cable systems don't have those resources.
That's very true. Armstrong is known for customer service. That's one of their strong points. Mm-hmm. So while they may not have some of the advantages of the huge cable systems, they do have the advantage of outstanding customer support. They've been
You're right.
Yeah, just recently, one of the major consumer reporting organizations rated them as #1 in both cable and telephone, and I think it was #1 in cable and internet, and #2 in telephone. So they've done very well as far as customer service. So that's a big part of what Armstrong's about.
One of the things that I was very impressed on is the fact that when I had an opportunity to visit your area down in South Point, that you have something that many other cable systems don't have, and that's a local programming channel.
Oh yes, that's my area. Yes, we do.
And tell us a little bit about what the local programming that you're involved with, and how that's important to the listening audience.
Sure. Well, I think the strength of it is that it is local. I'm doing shows, mostly in-field type productions, so they tend to be half-hour, hour-long shows. We do high school sports, a pretty fair amount of that sort of thing. So not only football, basketball, baseball, but also things like soccer and volleyball and things you won't necessarily see or even be covered in local television necessarily. So we do a variety of those kind of things. I do a pet show. I do
a pet show.
Yes, go visit the pound and look at some dogs, talk to some people about what you should, encourage people basically to adopt pets and that sort of thing. We do public affairs, sit down, interview type things. I do series of sort of news feature, documentary type programs about festivals and fairs and nonprofits and just things going on in the area. We have a talk show about local authors, people who've written books here in the area.
Oh, very good.
We do story time with local library, do a fair amount of that. We do tri-state music, so cover not only rock and pop music, but some of the like amateur symphonic bands and those kinds of things. We do a show just about upcoming events. I do a lot of things at like the Lawrence County Fair. We do 4-H type shows with Lawrence County Fair, and also some of the exciting demolition derbies and those kinds of things. Do a show about local history. We do a healthy lifestyles type show. Also, I partner with organizations like yourself, and we run some shows not only from here, from your collaboration, but also in OU Southern. They have a nice media program.
Yes, they do. As a matter of fact,
they will provide me some programming.
The media director is going to be featured on The Voice of Rio Grande, which is hosted by our president at the University of Rio Grande. And I'm looking forward also to that broadcast. So.
Yeah, they have a great program down there for media students.
Yeah.
So we've been able to work with them. We've partnered with the History Channel and done Take a Vet to School, did some of those kinds of programs.
Take a vet?
Yes, a veteran.
Oh,
so,
a veteran. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So they bring in some of the local, some of the kids' family members who are veterans, and bring them in, do a little appreciation, and some good information for the kids, and some appreciation for the adults.
It really amazes me that many cable systems, some of the larger cable systems just have, and they're, it's very nice because we are operating off of Time Warner, who has said, here's a channel, and through Mike's efforts was able to get Channel 17 here at the University of Rio Grande. And so they have that, but I have not seen much local programming like Armstrong, what Armstrong is doing. I think that's, first of all, it's a little bit shocking because keep in mind, when I grew up, we started with 3 channels, and we have now gravitated to close to 200 or 300 or whatever the amount is.
A large number, yes.
So we have been used to the fact that there's only been 3, then 4 large networks. And now we're seeing a proliferation of local access. And that's just amazing to me.
Yes, I think it's a good trend, that you're seeing. There's more niche programming, really. It appeals to people in a specific geographic area or a specific interest area, those sorts of things. And on cable television, you're getting hundreds of channels. Now, most people watch maybe 5-10 channels, but there's the opportunity for you to catch something you hadn't thought of, or see something new, or get some new information. And other people in your household may have a different 10 channels.
Sure.
So, it's good.
Yeah, my wife and I like the information on networks. It's they say you're never too old to learn, and that is true. When you see some of the specials that come out. As a matter of fact, looking at some of your, you made 4 working trips to Africa.
Yes. Actually, I think I went 5 times, but that's probably an outdated bio.
I understand. And you've shot segments for Inside Edition and Extra and the Montel Williams Show and Real TV.
I actually spent about 20 years of my career. I was basically a freelance videographer. So, you get these syndicated shows, and they travel around. If they come into the area, then they hire someone local to shoot for them, and or do sound or whatever, and then they take the stuff back and put it together. So I had the opportunity to do that with a lot of these different like news magazine type shows.
And I think that's important. Wanda and I, we gravitate towards some of those things because, first of all, by selecting people that live in the area to take care of the shots, like Mike or yourself, you know the layout. You understand some of the nuances, and sometimes you can better understand the dialects of you all and things of that nature. So I think it's good. I did want to find out about Blanco, the spirit of American stained glass.
Yes. Well, Blanco Glass, that's a glass company in Milton, West Virginia, and they distribute all over the country. There's a lot of really dedicated collectors of their pieces, and they have a long and rich tradition of making glass. And at one point, part of their distribution was they would distribute through public television, and they did basically fundraising shows where your premium was a piece of glass. And this particular show was about the stained glass products that they have. So we talked to, we did a history segment, how it got started and those sorts of things. We talked to several artists that work in stained glass, showed a bunch of their pieces, showed the process of assembling stained glass and some of the artist work that goes into doing that sort of thing.
We you know, at least in my household, we find that fascinating that when you come into local programming, you can enrich yourselves with areas that you want. And if we're not interested in it, it doesn't mean it's not a good show. It just means we'll move on to something that would be interesting. And I think what Armstrong Cable is doing is extremely important in providing an opportunity for local individuals to sort of help dictate or help recommend or ask for those kinds of programming that we have that networks have lost.
Right. Yes, we do some local history shows, and they're popular. People like it, but it's local history that wouldn't necessarily attract a national audience. So
yeah, that's true.
You know, we've done shows about the Underground Railroad, which was a big part of Burlington, Ohio, which is right next to South Point. Big part of the founding of that town had to do with the Underground Railroad. So we've done shows about that and visited some various museums. Cerrito Museum. We've done the Museum of Radio and TV in Huntington. So a lot of variety of things that you wouldn't necessarily get anywhere else. So that's what we're trying. That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, and you know, that brings us to the point of what the University of Rio Grande and the Instructional Design and Media Services tries to do is to encourage business students, art students, communication students to at least look at some of the things that are being done in this program, in Ohio University's program, and Marshall University's program, because this is not going to go away.
Correct. Yes.
You know, it's part of that social media, if you want to call it that, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. I think there's more media, more radio and TV than ever before. Like we said earlier, you have a camera in your pocket. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for distribution. If that is what you want to do, this is a wonderful time to be involved in that kind of business. I think it just takes perseverance. You know, you're going to have to start
I guess learning. You have to be patient too.
You have to be patient, work your way up, you know, learn everything you can and enjoy all of it. I think that's really the key to the career aspect of it.
And so in your career, the doing, the hands-on, plus the understanding on the different scholarly works, etc., and listening to other individuals and the mistakes that they've made or the things that they have done extremely well really is a nice blend for students wanting to at least look at the direction.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a nice blend, and don't be afraid to jump in and give it a try. I think that's a lot of it, and And don't be afraid to, if you have the chance to participate, volunteer and jump in there and see what you can do and learn and grow that way. It's don't be afraid to sell yourself a little
That's
bit.
right. Yeah, and that's what small businesses need, is individuals with a really good understanding. We're coming to our close. Care to share anything that we may have missed, or before we get into your amusing stories?
Yeah, you probably don't want to hear my amusing stories. No, I mean, I would say, as far as talking about careers, what I enjoy is the fact that you're able to get out, do different things, see different people, meet people I would otherwise never meet, go places I would otherwise never be able to go, and that's what I've enjoyed about the production business.
Well, I really appreciate that, but unfortunately we're just about out of time, so you'll have to come back and share those amusing stories.
Thank you very much.
But thank you very much for being our victim of the week.
Well, I enjoyed it. So
well, good.
Thank
good.
you.
Upcoming at 2 o'clock, we have Scott Borden. He's the chief of police here at the University of Rio Grande. He's going to be talking about some things that have become very important in today's world. Mike Thompson and Scott are going to sit down and discuss what happens if you get stopped by a police person. What happens if you get stopped going a little bit faster than you should? What are some of the common sense kinds of do's and don'ts? And I think that's very important because in today's world, we're becoming just a little bit, we're seeing too many examples of things that are going awry, that shouldn't go awry. Then at 3 o'clock, the Don Moore with the University of Rio Grande. He's the electronic media director at the Ohio University, and is going to be featured on The Voice of Rio, hosted by the president of the University of Rio Grande, Dr. Michelle Johnston. And they're going to be talking about the media. They're going to be talking about David E. Carter. He was a local entrepreneur,
yes,
who made it big, who helped many others. And I think it was the can-do spirit, because I think, many people said he would never amount to anything?
I think so, and he's done a lot.
And so it really looks like a great lineup. I hope that you'll make yourself at home. We have a big chair in the back if you'd like to go. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Doug.
Thank you for listening.